Women represent only 2% of the world's 1.2 million seafarers, and 94% of female seafarers are working in the cruise industry, as per the data received from International Maritime Organization. While some progress is being made, there is still a long way to go before we reach a point of parity. The lack of diversity holds back innovation, progress, and growth within the maritime industry. In order to remain competitive and meet the demands of the 21st century, the maritime sector needs to adapt, embrace new approaches, including those from the sectors that have made strides in improving gender equality, such as technology, finance, and healthcare. Globally, women's contribution towards success across sectors has been highlighted over the years. By encouraging gender equality in the industry, the maritime sector can benefit from a broader range of skills, ideas, and experiences, leading to better decision making and ultimately improved performance. Providing equal opportunities for career advancement and leadership roles is essential. By implementing transparent and unbiased promotion and selection processes, the maritime industry can ensure that women have equal access to higher positions. In conclusion, the maritime sector is transitioning and will require a collective effort to ensure gender equality and women's empowerment as it moves forward. By adopting the learnings from sectors that have excelled in gender equality, the maritime industry can begin to address gender disparities, foster a more inclusive environment, and can attract and retain more women and benefit from their unique skills and perspectives. In this background, we are about to talk to a person who has been passionately working in the space of removing gender equality and sensitizing on gender bias and other related issues. Sanjam Sahi Gupta. Sanjam has been working in the maritime industry since 2001 and is a director of Sitara Shipping Limited, a founder member of Women's International Shipping and Training Association, Vista India. She is also currently Exco member of Vista International. She is a member of the executive board of directors of the World Maritime University based in Malmö, Sweden. In February 2020, she was named as one of the top 100 women in shipping by All About Shipping UK. Maritime SheEO is the brainchild of Sanjam. An advocate for diversity in the maritime industry, she is the go-to person for gender issues in the Indian maritime industry as well as overseas. Passionate about driving change, she launched Maritime SheEO in August 2009. Sanjam, welcome to the Digital Dialogues show. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation and being with us today. So let me begin this conversation by with a very fundamental question of gender diversity. With so much of discussion happening around, there is still a significant gender imbalance in maritime industry. In fact, IMO Secretary General also said that we need to accelerate the change. We need to bring the change much more faster. So how do we address the serious issues of these gender biases, stereotypes, and eliminating gender-based assumptions to create a level playing field? How can maritime industry can make a significant progress towards achieving this gender equality and unlock the full potential of its workforce?
So I think to promote gender diversity and inclusion, I think organizations, what they should be doing is establishing clear diversity and inclusion policies within their own setups, establishing opportunities for career advancement for women, implementing training programs on gender sensitivity and unconscious bias, encouraging mentoring and networking opportunities for women within the industry, and also monitoring and assessing progress of gender diversity within their organizations and to make necessary adjustments. So I think every organization needs to conduct this internally.
You have given a list of things that an organization should follow to bring in the gender diversity or remove gender bias, whatever. But from your experience, can you give me an insight into how the organizations are responding maybe in the recent times?
So organizations, I think, have really woken up after 2019 when IMO had declared the year for empowering women in maritime. And IMO member states pledged to continue this in the years to follow. Organizations have seemed to have woken up to gender diversity and the needs. And what they are doing, what we are seeing on two sides. One, we're talking about the seafaring side. Especially in India, what we are seeing is now companies want to hire women seafarers and there aren't enough women seafarers. So it's quite the opposite situation. Now there's a huge demand for female seafarers and there aren't enough women. I get calls practically every other day, organizations asking if we have women in our database because they want to hire more women seafarers. And even coming on shore, I've seen that companies have now understood that diversity is important, not just as the model thing to do, but as the business case. So companies are looking to hire more women there as well. So I see that shift has happened, that change in mindset has happened, and organizations are moving slowly but steadily, they are moving towards that direction.
Your response brings me into two more questions. The first one I want to ask you is, okay, now there is a need for more women coming into this industry, especially seafarers. So what should be done?
Firstly, we have a lack of female role models and a lack of visibility of the industry itself. So women don't know that this is a career, right? So most young people, in fact, don't see this as a preferred career of choice, seafaring. So the industry needs to stop working in silos. What we all need to do is together, jointly with the government, promote it in educational training institutions so that young people know that it's a career choice that they can take. And what we need to do is when we go there, we need to take female role models. So seeing is believing, and when women see this, that there are women out there sailing, then automatically they can aspire and they can aim to be female seafarers.
When you talk about seafaring women, there is one recent survey done by Vista that brings the serious problem of harassment and bullying while on the high seas, maybe while they're sailing by their male colleagues, right? And
Yeah.
surprisingly, the participants in the survey, 95% of them said the companies have a harassment and bullying policy. In spite of that, these happen. How do you think that this should be addressed?
So long term, there is no one, say, magic wand that we can wave and get rid of the solution. But what we can do is gender sensitization training, which the Director General of Shipping, as you know, under their new initiative, they have come up with that all people going through sea training have to undergo a gender sensitization training, which is a step in the right direction. Probably will not immediately get rid of the problem. It's a good starting point and lead to a change of mindset. Apart from that, I think gender sensitization training needs to also be done to all those who are sitting in the shipping companies' offices recruiting women. Because it's not just the harassment or bullying that takes place out there. It's the women also face that before they are employed. So I think everybody needs to undergo this gender sensitization training. And continuous awareness seminars, training programs need to be conducted so that people, there's a shift of mindset. And the shift of mindset is something that unfortunately cannot happen overnight. And unfortunately, we cannot even quantify it or measure it. So that is why it's a huge challenge. But one way I feel that harassment will get reduced, or where women did say that they found it more comfortable when there were more women on the ship. So as we have more and more number of women on one ship, I feel that these cases of harassment will come down because women will feel less isolated, and there's a sense of belonging. When there are 2 or 3 women, there is moral support as well.
Recently, one of the ship financing company, it's a global company, when it had to give a term loan to a shipping company, it linked the loan conditions to one of the KPI, stating that they are supposed to have this gender diversity improving the balance year on year kind of a thing. So, do you think these kind of business linked conditions also will put some pressure on the organizations and then bring in whatever the required change in this segment?
Absolutely. You've hit the nail on the head that sometimes when organizations don't want to do it, there is a way to entice them to do it as well. There was a case a few years ago also, which I'd heard of, that IKEA was looking for shipping companies to meet them. And they said that unless one of the two people going to meet them was a lady, they should not even bother coming. So I think that when suppliers or when banks and financial institutions, where institutions in power, they dictate these terms, then automatically organizations will have to take it seriously.
Coming to Maritime SheEO, which you have found in 2019 and very passionately working for bringing all this change in this industry. So, can you give me an insight into what exactly Maritime SheEO has been doing in the last few years, and how satisfied you are with the progress that you are able to bring in?
Absolutely. So I can highlight three major achievements that we have done over the years. One is that we had done a case on the business case for diversity, which was funded by the Dutch consulate. It has also been featured, the results, in a UNCTAD article. This is a very good data to improve the business case for diversity, and this has also encouraged more companies to hire women. So one was the absence of data, so we've created that data, valuable data, and companies are referring to it. The second thing which I'm very proud of is that the IMO had funded our Leadership Accelerator program for women in maritime, and 90 women across the globe have undergone our Leadership Accelerator program. And after this program, a lot of the women have risen in their careers, they've got promotions, they are doing better. So this is something that we can actually quantify and say that we have made a difference. Thirdly, we have formed a community of women called the Maritime SheEO community. It is an online group to connect, to provide guidance, mentoring, even on junior levels. We've provided various programs to them on mental health, career guidance, and women from diverse countries, even such as Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Ghana, tell their career stories. So we may not have been aware of basic strides of women in traditional nations, but the basic idea was to connect these women and inspire each other. What we also have is a female pilots group. So there are marine pilots from all across the globe. We have a subgroup of them, and you'll be surprised to see how many marine pilots we have actually all across the globe. And all of them have this forum, they have this WhatsApp group, we have a LinkedIn group as well for them, where they discuss common problems and inspire each other. So these are few of the initiatives that we have done.
In light of what you have been doing through Maritime SheEO, what is the kind of support that you are getting from government, ministry, or even industry? And what is that you look forward to them for getting more coordination or collaboration from these agencies?
We definitely have seen an increase in support, especially for this year's conference, if I may say so. We were approached by a lot of international companies who wanted to partner with us on this journey. So rather than us pursuing companies, it was companies actually pursued us. For example, our diversity sponsor is from the UK, Subsea 7, who approached us, who wanted to partner with us. Our sustainability sponsor is an Omani company. So we've seen overseas companies such as Pacific Basin as well, who want to partner with us. So one is that we're seeing is the shift from not only national, but also international companies who are coming forward. And not only big companies, we are seeing SMEs also who have come up to partner with us for our conference. They are not very big companies, they don't have very big budgets, but surprisingly, they feel so passionately about gender diversity that they said, yes, we want to partner with you. So we have SME companies as well. We also have some high-level ministries, officials who will be joining us for the conference. So we definitely see that it's being taken more seriously. And what we expect from this year's conference will be that we continue to foster collaboration amongst world leaders and to see change being discussed. The IMO is also sending 2 women from biofouling to speak at the event about what it is to be a woman in biofouling. And we know that these are areas of maritime not very well known even within the industry about biofouling. And they are sending one lady from the Glow Litter project who will discuss about marine pollution. So not only will the IMO be supporting us, but we'll be having to talk about different careers for women within the maritime space. For example, in maritime biofouling as well as in litter.
Going forward, post this conference, what would be the action plan for Maritime SheEO? How do you maintain this continuity? Because having a conference and discussions is one part. Then what would be the outcome, and then how do you make it into an actionable program in your organization?
It's a very important point that you have raised. So, as one of the outcomes of the conference, we will of course take on the talking points that will be discussed at the conference. We'll take up those points and those suggestions that will come as a result of those conversations. And I also think that we need more data. So we're in talks with a few companies to give us funding so we can actually do more research in this area, on also probably highlighting the best practices. For example, we know now companies are taking more interest in gender diversity. There are already a lot of best practices out there. So companies don't need to reinvent the wheel. We want to come out with a report highlighting the best practices in gender diversity. That's our next goal. So companies can refer to it, and we can hero and highlight the companies that are doing good work in this sector.
Ms. Sanjam, you have been really doing a commendable work in the space of gender diversity, trying to remove the gender bias, sensitizing the organizations. Started in a small way with ISTA India, and then now you have with Maritime SheEO global attention to these issues. And in fact, through this conference, year-on-year conference, you have been bringing a lot of global experts also to India, engaging them in this conversation. We wish you all the best with the conference. We look forward to participate in the discussions, and then we expect a lot of takeaways from this conference. We wish you all the best. Thank you very much for joining us today and sharing your perspectives.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being our media partner for the conference.